All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. And in the last video that was literally just put out minutes ago, I went back and redid the payroll console program, C# payroll console program, and I tried to refactor it so that it didn't have as many lines of code in it. So let me show you what I did, and I had problems with it. I had an error, and it was a simple error, but a foolish one, let's put it that way. Anytime you attempt to do string interpolation, and what string interpolation means is what you are attempting to do is you are attempting, okay, to inside of a string not only print words or strings, but also variables and their values. When you use string interpolation, what you are supposed to do is at the beginning of the line for the string interpolation, you're supposed to put in a $sign, and I didn't do it. How did I figure that out? I went back and I found this. I typed in C# string interpolation, and the first thing it said here was use the $sign before the string to enable interpolation. If you remember, when I was running this, the problem that I had when we were trying to print out the prompt is instead of printing out the prompt, it was printing out actual inside of curly braces the word PROMPT because I had not enabled string interpolation. So you can see it's been put in here, and now everything is inside of the same string. So the strings themselves, the variables have to be inside of curly braces. All right, so I've got it there, I've got it there. It's all over the place. All right, so File, Save All. Let's run it. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I don't know why it wouldn't. So if we put a 1 in here, please input the number of hours worked. If I hit Enter, again, hours cannot be empty and must be a valid decimal. That's a good start. Must be a valid decimal. I put in out of range. Okay. Out of range on the other end. Okay, so if I put in a valid hours, about 50. And then I do the same thing with the hourly rate. I put in nothing, and then I put in non-numeric, and then I put in out of range. All right, and then we try to put in an hourly rate, and I can turn that back if I want to $99.99, but let's put in $20 right now, and it should be $1,100, and it is. So that one works. And notice too that it says at the start version 4. I changed that as well. All right, so let's hit any key and let's try the number 2. Pieces made. Well, if we put in nothing, cannot be empty, must be a valid integer. If we put in this, well, whatever, must be a valid integer. If we put in out of range, okay, so let's say that you made 75 pieces. All right, for the price per piece, which is now valid, let's leave it blank. Let's try to put a non-numeric in, and let's put some out of range numbers in there. And you notice it covers all those as well. Let's put in $1. 75 pieces, $1 per piece, $75. So that works. Let's try salaried worker. All right, put in a commission percentage. Let's put in nothing. Let's put in something that's non-numeric. Let's put in something that's out of range. And you notice those all work. Let's try 0.25, 25%. For their sales, let's again put in nothing. Let's try to put in non-numeric. Let's put in out of range on both ends. And let's put in $1,000. Remember, 25% of $1,000, 1/4 would be $250. And that works. Finally, Let's try number 4, which is the salaried worker. All right. And for the salaried worker, let's again leave it empty. Let's put in non-numeric. Let's put in out of range on the low end, out of range on the high end. And let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So their salary is $56,789. Okay, so the only thing I can think of as far as an error that was in here, it's not really an error, but we did go back and change this, or we should. Let's change that to 99.99. All right. And let's pretty these up a little bit too. That looks okay. So where we have that 0 and 100, it should be changed now because we're actually using the values. So if I run this one last time, and I come in and put in a 1, and I put in 50, now notice it's between 0 and 99.99. So if we say you made $99.99, that's what you would have made. Hopefully that's the right answer. I believe it would be. So now I've got something that totally works. All right. So the goal of the next, because this is very short already, we're only not even 10 minutes in. The goal of the next iteration of this won't be the actual iteration here, but what it will be is well, let's see. Can we take these two functions, this just came to me right now, literally, and I'm sorry if that just came to me now, but the attempt to get valid integer input and the attempt to get valid decimal input, there really shouldn't be any reason I can't take those two and put them into my validation both routine. Okay? So let's see if we can do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them in where they are. I'm going to leave them in here, but I'm going to also copy them. All right, so I've got both of them in here, so I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go over to my validation both. I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to put that in. Now, notice I've got right line in here. It's giving me errors. Well, I should be able to come in and use our old using static system.console. All right, and that should remove anything that we've got in there. All right. Now, it looks as though I might be missing a curly brace, which oftentimes happens with this. Now, you'll notice that these are, again, gray in color because we're not using them yet. So let's come in here and do this. Let's do a file, save all. And after we do this, let's make this, I don't know, yeah, we should be able to come in here and make this the startup project, which isn't, we don't really want to do that, but we're going to do a build solution here. And I want to see if I get any errors. Build completed, no errors. All right, so now we're going to try to do this. We're going to come back to here, and we have, or we should be, there's our using validation lib, so that should be fine. So any place now, what I want to do is I want to come down to the bottom here, and where we have the attempt to get valid integer input and the attempt to get valid decimal input, these two, let's just do it from here. Let's comment all of this out. Now that's going to give us a boatload of errors, as you would probably guess. So let's comment these out. And again, like I said, we're going to get all sorts of errors. That's okay. So now where we're calling these, so again, now where we're calling these, everywhere we've got an error in here, I'm going to try to say validation.both or validation both dot before all of these. So let's see if it works. Now, it's not showing those as being in there, all right? So, in other words, it appears as though this is using an old version or something. So let's go back. Let's take a look here. I'm going to come back to here, and I'm going to go into my validation, and I'm going to go into my bin, my debug, and it does have today's date and time on it. That's good. All right, so now what I'd like to do here, it's as though it's not picking up the latest and greatest version. So let's go back to let's close the validation library. We've got our fourth iteration pay console, which is right here. So right mouse click on it, choose add reference. Let's uncheck it and check it again and click OK. Now, I don't know if that'll do anything. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and right now I'm going to type in validation both dot and it does not appear as though it's finding these. I'm trying to figure out why that would be the case. Know what it is. Let's go back. Let's go into our validation both here. These, where they say static, we need the word public in front of them. Not there. And I don't think they have to be static anymore. I think just public should be fine. Public bool right there. Attempt to get valid decimal input. Where's the other one? How did I miss the other one? Decimal input. Oh. Well, it's good I found this. Let's grab the other one. Oops. Which is here. All right, so this, let's highlight all of this. Let's uncomment it. Let's copy it. And then let's comment it again. So that will have to come in. Well, we're here already, sorry. And that'll have to come into the bottom here. And that will also have to be public. Again, I don't think it needs to be static. Now, did I take the other ones and make them static? No. So I'm going to do a file, save all. Let's come back and let's rebuild this one more time. So build solution. Shouldn't, oh boy, it's giving me errors. Yeah, it's in the regular payroll program. That's where we're getting the errors. So that's all these errors that you're seeing in here. It's when we're trying to call it. That's why we're getting an error. So let's take what we have in here where we commented all of these out. Let's uncomment them so that those errors go away. All right, so file save all. Now it's down to one error. And this will have to be just this. Attempt to get valid decimal input. Okay, so save that. Come back to our validation both. Let's see if we can rebuild this now. Build succeeded. All right. So now I'm going to go back again to this, and I am going to come in and comment all of this out. From the stuff at the bottom. So this attempt to get valid decimal input and this attempt to get valid integer input. I'm commenting both of those out, which again is going to give me errors. But now I want to see if I can do the validation both on here. Still is not showing these, and I'm not sure why. Again, let's try what we did before. So let's right mouse click. Let's choose add reference. Let's remove it and then bring it back again. Click OK. It is not showing those in our list of functions. Son of a gun. And I don't know why it would not be. Because what that would do then is it would cut down the number of lines we had in the program then. It would cut it down to from 900 to 340, which is really a substantial savings. If we look in here, we do have public bool, attempt to get valid decimal input. It's not showing there as being any errors in here. All right, I'm going to go back. It is 12:55 is the time. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to go back into my validation bin, debug, 12:52. That must have been when it was built. So again, I'm trying to figure out what would make this not work. Public bool. Public bool. There's nothing wrong. There's no errors in there. Telling it to rebuild the solution right now. Oh, yeah. I gotta go back and change that back again. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's giving me the same errors for all the stuff I just commented out. Now, you know, again, we could make a case here and say, then why do you keep doing this? Well, again, the idea is twofold. First, what's going to happen here is I'm cutting the number of lines of code down from 900 something to 300 something, which is pretty doggone good. It says the type or namespace validation lib could not be found. Okay, now that went away. So success, here it says it's not being used. Error message, it says here, is not being used. That's no biggie. Okay, I guess maybe we don't need those. I don't know. Well, these are all, I don't know this has got to be an older version. No, doesn't look like it is. Not save. Okay, this is the 4th iteration. Oh, goodness. This is BMI. I don't know why this is even up there. This is supposed to be the 4th iteration of the pay one. It's the startup project. All right, let's see if we run this, do we get any errors? Doesn't appear to be. So let's go back to here and let's rebuild solution and see if we get any errors. We shouldn't now. The namespace validation lib could not be found. Went away right away. Don't understand why that's even happening. This is, okay, I am not going to save, and I'm going to go back. Look at this. This is all goofed up. I don't even know what the heck happened here. Somehow this is the 2nd iteration. Don't know why it's bringing that up. So this is the 4th iteration. This is the 5th iteration. Let's take this 4th one here and get rid of it. All right, so we've got this now. This should be our latest and greatest. This is BMI. Good gravy. That's the startup project. There it is. Now, is there a 5th iteration of the payroll console? 5th iteration? No. So we want the 4th iteration of the payroll program. That's good. I am going to comment this line out for now. You'll see why in a moment. But I'm just going to comment that out. Don't worry. And I guess I'll have to because it's going to introduce tons of errors. All right. Yeah, attempt to, etc. So we should be able to go in here now and go back to our validation both, which at the bottom now has attempt to get valid decimal input, and it has attempt to get valid integer input. We should be able to go back and rebuild that solution. We're getting errors. Telling us that this can't be found, but as soon as we click on it, it's got here project 3rd iteration. I don't know what is going on with this. I should have gone back and everywhere under 4th iteration, 4th iteration pay console, 4th iteration pay console, Wow, look at all the junk that's in here. I'm going to try to get rid of all this. So I just went in and cleaned out the bin directory. Okay. Now that could screw up a lot of other programs too, and I'm sorry about that if it has. So all right, I'm going to go back. This says 5th iteration, but again, it's BMI. I don't know why that is even in there. Another BMI. I don't know why that is in there. 4th iteration. This is validation both here. So I'm going to do a file, save all on this, and I'm going to do a build solution on this. It completed. So hopefully now when I come in here and I go into my validation and I go into my bin and my debug, those are the only two I want in there, and it's got 101, which is the right time. All right, so now going back to here, make sure this is the right program. 4th iteration. In this iteration, we're going to try to eliminate the duplicated code. All right, so let's go in without commenting anything out yet. What happens if we type in here validation both dot? It is not showing us. It is not showing us our new functions, and I don't for the life of me understand why. Again, it could be when I come in here and I do a add and I add a reference, I might have to remove it and then add it again. So it gets the latest and greatest. I don't know. So let's just come in here and type in validation both. Validation both dot. And those are not in here. I have never seen this happen before. I'm going to pause and it works now. So I think what I'll do is I'll make a 5th iteration. So in this 4th iteration, we will try to minimize the amount of duplicated code. That is correct. Okay, so file, save all. Let's try this. I'm going to close my validation both, close the program. You've seen me do this on more than one occasion. So I'm going to go where I've got 4th iteration, pay console. I'm going to right mouse click and choose copy and then paste. And where we have this, it'll now be 5th. FTH iteration pay console. I want to get rid of that. All right, let's open that up. Let's change the name of this. So we will rename it to 5th iteration pay console. And then let's open that file and change both of these to 5th iteration. Save this, close this. All right. Come back to our actual programs. There it is. And let's see if we can bring that in. So everything is closed right now. Solution, add, existing project from C# programs, 5th iteration pay console. There it is. We're opening that. So this will now say 5th. We're going to try to move the attempt to get valid decimal input and attempt to get valid integer input functions into the validation library and call them directly from this program. This will cut down the number of lines in the program to less than 400 if we can get it to work. All right. Now, you've seen this. You have seen when I came over here to my validation library and to the validation both. You have seen this already, that I've put these in there. I put in attempt to get valid decimal input. I put in attempt to get valid integer input. I rebuilt it. Everything looked good as far as I could tell. So on here, the problem has been when I come in and type in validation both dot, it is not showing them. Again, I've never had this happen before. I'm going to try to pause and get online and see if I can find out why this would be the case. So I think what I'll do is, I'm at 33 minutes already. I'm going to stop with this lecture and we'll pick it up as soon as I figure out what the problem is. Thanks.